Walk with me. So have you ever been asked, what's your personal vision? Or maybe at some point, I'm sure you've been told that in order to push you forward, to motivate, to inspire, you should have a personal vision of where you want your life to go. How many of us have heard that before, been told that before? What does that even mean, right? Have a vision. So I want to have a conversation with y'all today on that topic of what it means to have a vision. And a valuable lesson that I got from a mentor a while back that totally shifted what that question meant to me. Totally reframed or changed my perspective on what a vision is. And for me, that shift turned a vision, how I understood it, a vision, how I was creating it, a vision by maybe the understanding that you have right now, from something that was maybe a little motivating, subtly inspiring, right? Positive and nice to talk about, into something that really moved me, something that was a burning desire, something that was a ignition, a catalyst that made all the difference. And no matter how many times you've had a conversation or a definition of vision, I promise that what I'm going to share, there's a 99.9% chance you've never heard it defined this way. So before we get into a vision conversation today, you can tell I'm out of breath. It's hot here in Southern California, finishing my run, and I am going to ask, like I always do, who's out there? Who's by my side right now? Who's walking with us today? Don't be shy, no hiding behind the screen. Drop a comment below. Hello, how are you? How you doing? How you feeling? Let me know where you're plugging in from right now. If you're catching us live, welcome. We walk weekly and have inspired conversations, usually around the same time on Wednesdays. Walk with me Wednesdays. We have a tribe, a crew from all around the world that shares some inspired thoughts. If you're new to the crew, welcome to the conversation. And the only thing I ask of you is contribute. Drop some comments below. If there's something that inspires you, share. If there's a thought you have, share. If there's something you agree with, share. If you have a different perspective or experience, share. It's like we're walking together, and I want this to be a collaboration, a conversation. For today's topic, vision. So I guess let me start by asking, what does that mean to you? Right, we've all heard, I'm sure, at some point in our life that it's good to have a vision. Maybe we've been taught, create a vision statement in our lives. And really, what does that mean? First and foremost, I agree. I think we all have to have a vision. If I were to create a simple definition of what that means to me, is a vision is a picture of our future that is better than it is today, right? It's a picture of our future. It's personal to us. At any time, some people, look a year or 2 years. Some people have incredible long-term vision. They're looking 5, 10 years into the future. But at some point, it's a future focus about our lives, about what we do, maybe what we have, even deeper about who we are and who we're becoming. And it's got to be a picture that in some way is better than how it is today. Nobody has a vision for their future that's worse, right, than how it is today. That wouldn't be a appropriate vision of where we're going. I'll add the fact that a good vision is something that excites. It's something that creates enthusiasm. It's something that ignites a fire. A good vision is something that creates an urgency in the way we live every day, an urgency in how we approach our lives every day, right? A good vision gives us that feeling. I think we're all at the end of the day chasing that feeling of feeling more alive every single day. The vision is the ignition for all of that. And I think it's something we all have to have. Matter of fact, I think it's built into our human DNA. In my opinion, although there's a lot of experts in science and specialists that back this up, that as people, we have a basic human need for growth, for progress, for pursuing better. We need to be moving toward something. We need to be growing ourselves. Matter of fact, it's said when we stop growing, we start what? Dying. And that's more than just a common quote. It's something we see in people's lives every day when those around us get to a state of stuck or a state of stagnant, maybe a state where the environment around them is no longer inspiring them forward, and somehow they have lost grasp of a vision or a forward growth. And all of a sudden, when they stop growing, energy depletes, right? Depression sets in. That vitality for life starts to go down. Our batteries start to drain. And you see people not understanding why, what's happening. Am I physically sick? Is there something wrong? And none of that might be the case. It might be the case just we stopped having a vision to pursue, and all of a sudden, without growing, we start dying. See, we all have to have a future perspective that ignites us, that excites us, that moves us. That is a vision. But most of us, although I'm sure most of you watching right now have been taught, hey, have a vision, create a statement. Where are we going? Create the vision board, right? It's often called a dream. What's your dream? Where are we going? How many of you have done these exercises before? And so often, kind of the first phase of vision, we start to write, I want that watch or that purse or those shoes. Right? I want that house and that address or that city or that location. Or maybe it's a bigger vision. It's I want houses in these destinations in these amazing places. Right? Maybe it's about getting out of a debt, right? Or a hole that you're in. Maybe it's about buying certain things for other individuals. Maybe it's about that car that you've always wanted, right? Maybe it's about just shopping down that one street where all of the luxury brands and luxury stores, and not being afraid to go in because you're not going to be able to afford anything, but going from store to store, getting whatever you want. You see, all of those are great things, but so often our first phase of a vision starts with just that. It starts with things. And isn't it interesting that when we think about where we're going, the life we want to have, the vision for ourselves, usually the first thing that comes to mind is a list of things. And you guys, don't get me wrong, don't misunderstand me. There's nothing wrong with that. That was my list too. Matter of fact, for not only years, probably decades of my life, I can still go back to my journals, creating the vision for my life and all of the things, right, that I wanted to buy or places that I wanted to go, right? All of these objects, right, that I wanted around me. And there's nothing wrong with any of those things. All of those things can move you, can inspire you, right? For the first probably a couple decades, right? First decade or so of my entrepreneurial life, those things moved me. So don't misunderstand me. Those are a vision and they can become a useful tool. You know, I was at one of our community events in Louisville a couple weeks ago, and we had a special guest speaker fly in person and share his story. And you probably know this individual, Curtis Jackson, right? And Curtis, probably more commonly known as 50 or 50 Cent, right? So we had 50 Cent in the room, in person, sharing his story, not rapping, not singing, but sharing his story of overcoming, his story of an entrepreneur, his story of success, how he's redefined and reinvented himself, right? Through different careers and different stages of life. And he was telling a story of how when he made his first fortune, right, as a rapper, right, when he started hitting the high life, he actually bought Mike Tyson's former house. And he was telling a story of this ridiculous house. And I don't remember all the facts. I just remember sitting here listening to the amount of rooms, something like 35 bedrooms and all these bathrooms and this monstrosity, right, of a structure that was his house, and all these outrageous parties he was throwing, and how he'd have to have security go through every single room at the end because people would get lost in the house, right? Staying there for sometimes days at a time. I mean, this house is so big, and a smile on his face telling the stories. But then he said something that resonated with me deeply. He said at that stage of my life, right, that's what inspired him. That's what motivated him. And he said, there's nothing wrong with that. You have to aspire for certain things, right? And attain those things and keep going for those things until you no longer have a need or a desire for those things. And that resonated with me so much because in my own life, I spent a long time aspiring for certain things. And I spent, right, a period of my life where I achieved a certain success level, right, financially or monetarily, where I started to afford, right, all of those things. And I remember hitting a point in my life and having conversations with some of my mentors saying, something's wrong, something doesn't feel right. Like I didn't feel the same way when I wanted or purchased these things that were on my list as I once had. These things that used to move me and inspire me no longer did. The fulfillment or the rush, right, the achievement that I got when I purchased something, right, at one time I no longer was receiving. I thought something was wrong. I was like, what's going on? I lost my desire. And what I came to understand is the same thing that 50 Cent eloquently put in that simple statement. It's okay for us to have a vision for things and want those things, and those things can move us forward. We need that desire until we no longer have that desire for those things. So what am I saying? A couple main lessons to understand. We got to have a vision. A vision of things can move us. If they move you and inspire you and ignite you, those will work for you as tools right now. But you also need to understand first, many people, it may be you, it may not be you, only you'll come to understand when you achieve those certain things, you might come to a point where those things, once you start to achieve, they no longer are the same things that are your vision or the things that move you. And you guys, I'll share with you that valuable lesson, the thing I said at the beginning, a shift in perspective, a reframing, a repositioning of a belief that changed everything. I had a mentor tell me, he said, Blake, what if your vision is not about a thing? What if your vision was a feeling? What if the vision for yourself of where you're going right now, the future you that you're becoming, what if it wasn't about anything at all? What if it was about a feeling? Maybe a vision for your future, right? It's not about the watch or the house or the car, right? Or the shopping or the shoes or the bag. Maybe your vision is about a set of feelings. The way you want to feel waking up every single day, the way you want to feel going through the hours, the way you want to feel when you go to bed. What would that feeling be for you? Maybe it's a feeling of freedom. A feeling of freedom. Yeah, financial freedom, but deeper than that, right? Maybe beyond financial freedom. Maybe it's an emotional freedom. Maybe it's a creative freedom or artistic freedom. I think the ultimate freedom goes beyond the bank account. The ultimate freedom goes beyond even our time. I think the ultimate freedom is a freedom to totally, genuinely, authentically be yourself every single day. Your true you, that's freedom. A feeling of freedom. Maybe that feeling of freedom also comes across as a feeling of peace. What if just a feeling of calmness, of stillness, of complete and utter peace, of feeling free from the stress or the anxiety or the fear or the triggers that we allow get the best of us from time to time, but a feeling of just peace, a confidence in who you are, what you're doing, who you're with, where you're going, a complete and utter peace. Maybe your freedom is a feeling of happiness, of joy, right? Of inner smile and inner light, right? When was the last time you felt just a pure joy, a pure happiness, not muddled or mixed with any other emotion, but just a pure joy, a pure happiness? Maybe that feeling is the vision you're moving toward, a feeling of joy, a feeling of happiness. Maybe it's just a feeling of love. A feeling of love first for yourself. Loving yourself just the way you are, not just the things you do right, but all your beautiful imperfections, all your idiosyncrasies, all the things that are in your past that are the you of today. All of it, loving all of it. And loving yourself so that you can just be free to love the people that love you back, the people that are close to you, your family, your friends, your loved ones. Maybe it's just a feeling of love. Guys, what other feelings would be your vision? If you could wake up every day with a list of feelings inside, what would those feelings be? If you could live those feelings as you go through, right, your work, your career, your mission, right, your hobbies, your recreation, everything you do, what would those feelings be? If you could go to bed every night full of those feelings, what would that vision look like for you? And then here's a real question. With that shift, if a vision for your future goes beyond a list of things, but the vision of where you're going is a list of feelings, and if that's the picture of your life for tomorrow or next month or next year or the years to come, how would that vision reframe or reposition how you approach what you do every single day? For many of you, you might still have a list of things, and if that moves you and that works for you, do not change it. That's a fire that's working for you right now. But know if you're going that direction, once you get there, I promise you there's probably going to be an evolution, an elevation, a next step. Or maybe you're someone right now where those list of things doesn't move you like it once did. Maybe it never did. Maybe you're looking for a vision that catapults you forward. And maybe this shift is the vision that's going to help you create that fire in your life, that alive feeling today. What would those feelings be for you? One more view from the top. Beautiful day here in Southern California. Got to finish my run. Got my ketones in my body, almost done for the day. Sweet tea lemonade, my flavor for the day. And my message for all of you. Maybe your vision is not about a list of things at all. Maybe your vision is about how we feel. And if we can create a vision for ourselves based on a list of feelings that moves us forward, guys, we're going to approach and live every day at a whole different level. And until next time we walk together, I hope all of you stay safe, stay healthy, and have an amazing, amazing vision for yourself this week that moves us forward. Hey, if you guys got value from today, let me know below. If someone came to your mind or your heart that you want to share this with, please share or tag. You can catch past conversations, inspired thoughts on the podcast, Alive by Design, on podcast platforms. Go subscribe, alivebydesign.com/subscribe. Rates and reviews always welcome. Until the next time we walk together, have a great day.